I got every workout from 1983 until 1997. Every single workout, every rep, every set. Preparation notes for Mr. Olympia and all these things. This worked, this didn't work. So very analytical, writing everything, analyzing, studying.
His training diary was his life, and that was him. He knew if he followed X, it would equal Y, and that's what's been proven.
He totally believed what he was doing was right. He had no doubts. That's half the battle. If you believe in something, you can make it happen.
Blood and guts is just to the level where no one's willing to go. I mean, that's what it's about. Turn the body inside out, no matter what it takes. He wasn't going to stop. He was a train. I was never going to be a men's physique.
Didn't have much of an off season.
I like his physique better.
I'm always very energetic. I will have to put me as one of the greatest.
Mr. Olympia was won by the back.
How did you feel about the Olympia this year? Talk to me about the different divisions. Of course, men's, classic physique and everything else as well.
It was awesome. I mean, to be honest, like as a bodybuilder, I don't get a chance to follow a lot of stuff because I'm always competing myself. So this was one of the first years where I actually got to watch, and I watched most of the divisions, and it was pretty exciting. I felt like it was more exciting than last year's Olympia. Besides Chris Bumstead in classic physique, there was a new Mr. or Mrs. Olympia across every division. And that was really cool. It was really exciting. I enjoyed watching it. I think there was I agreed with pretty much all of the outcomes. I think everybody that won truly deserved it. I thought it was awesome that Ramy won. I thought he really brought it together and brought what everyone wanted and was expecting of him for the past 10 years, and it was really impressive. And he deserved it for physique wise. He definitely deserved it, but also he's just such an awesome guy. I genuinely like him as a person, so I was so happy for him.
Mm-hmm. Did you feel like he was leading the whole time when you were watching Olympia, or when you saw the pictures from the recap? Did you feel like both nights, after the first night, put it that way, did you feel like he's definitely winning the overall?
No, I didn't feel like he was definitely winning, but I just felt like he was very well rounded. I thought like he just his side shot destroyed everybody. His front shot looked great. He just checked off all the boxes. I feel like from behind, he can be a little bit more detailed and sharper, especially in the lower back. But, that's something that you give up with that much size, I guess, So I feel like he definitely deserved it, but I wasn't 100% sure after the first night.
Mm-hmm. Were you surprised that Phil made a comeback this year? Well, last year.
I wasn't surprised. No, I wasn't surprised. I think, if I was Phil, I would have, He's still young. He had his surgery, which is tough to bounce back from. But, I don't feel like he was done. It didn't seem like he was completely finished at the end of his career, He didn't compete that one year, and then he had the surgery. So, I wasn't too surprised. I thought he had a great chance of coming back and taking it.
Mm-hmm. Some people think that, he didn't improve from last time. Obviously, you've heard that before. Some people think he definitely improved and he deserved even higher placing. Do you have any thoughts on that at all?
I think, first of all, people are a little bit too harsh. You were talking about the best of the best in the world. That's first and foremost. Like, people sometimes say some things that just makes my jaw drop. I heard people saying that Phil looked like he looked terrible and this and that. Phil wasn't his best. Phil wasn't Phil Heath in his prime. But honestly, what Mr. Olympia, after 7 consecutive wins, 6 consecutive wins, 8 consecutive wins, which one of them ever looked their best? None. They all fell off at the end. They all had injuries, all of their midsections. I'm sorry, but every single Mr. Olympia at the end of their reign, their midsection wasn't as tight as it was in the beginning or middle of their reign, So, I don't think he was his best. I don't think he was the old Phil. The surgery in his stomach, I mean, you can't bounce back from that. You could see his abdomen change, and they ripped his abdomen wall apart. It's hard to come back from that, But I think he looked good. It's just that people were so hard on him because they're comparing him to his best years. And, his best years, he's one of the best bodybuilders on the planet of all time. So I think that's why the critics are so harsh on Phil, you know?
Yeah, they always like to be negative towards him. That's been like.
Yeah. Listen, he's always been controversial. He always, you know, argues with people and stuff like that. But that's besides his his physique. That's two completely different things. Your personality, I can hate somebody or not like somebody and tell you that they're great bodybuilders. I've done that many times before. Like I don't let my opinion about someone's personality make me biased. I like Phil. I don't have anything against him. I think he's a very intense, focused guy, and he's one of the best bodybuilders to walk this planet, you know? Yeah, seeing him up there, just whatever it was, if it was a surgery or some people say it's like, oh, taking off a year, taking off 2 years, you can't come back. I guess that's a mental thing because I mean, technically you should be fresh and your body should be rested, but maybe you lose the competitive edge. I mean, I guess I'll find out myself because this is the first year I sat out.
How do you feel about Big Ramy finally winning? There was a conspiracy theory going on, right? That no matter how good he is, they're not gonna let him win. Have you heard that conspiracy theory? Like they're not gonna let Big Ramy win no matter what.
Yeah, listen. I've been following bodybuilding for 2 decades. I've heard so many conspiracy theories. Uh, there's always a reason why someone didn't win, besides their physique, right? And that's just bodybuilding fans, you know. And it's look, you don't throw a ball through a hoop. It's not obvious that you scored. So it's a very you know it's a perspective sport, so it's very difficult. So you always have these people that have these theories. I've heard of those before, and I don't know why. What was the theory? Because he's Middle Eastern? Well, Samir Bannout was Middle Eastern, and he won. You know, so no, I don't believe that. Um, I think people just love certain bodybuilders, and they don't see their flaws. You know, and that's you can't view the sport that way. You just can't.
No, for sure. I mean, yeah, of course. That's what people are saying. You know, if you go and you start, looking at people's, and those again, those are just comments. You know, people just saying that. I'm just taking it based on what the people I see are saying. You know, of course, I never really thought about that. You know.
Look, I remember. Sorry to interrupt you, but I remember when I saw Big Ramy in person. I think it was the New York Pro, and I remember when he came out, everyone just like gasped. He was so big, and from that, I don't even remember how many years it was. This is a long time ago. From then, people were saying he's going to be Mr. Olympia, and the first thing I thought was, I love this guy. He was awesome, but there's no chance in that time he'd be Mr. Olympia. He just wasn't. He didn't have the maturity. He didn't have the density. He didn't have the conditioning. It took a long time, and he got here. But all these years, Ramy always had 20 pounds or more that he could lose. You know, he still does. If Big Ramy lost another 10 to 20 pounds, he'd still be the biggest guy on stage. So he finally brought that hardness and sharpness. So I know it wasn't a conspiracy. You know, he didn't have that conditioning and hardness that prior Mr. Olympias had, that he had this year to win. You know?